You know that sinking feeling, sitting in a massive lecture hall, staring down at a giant one-size-fits-all exam paper, and just knowing half the questions are either way too easy or practically impossible? There's like no middle ground. It's totally frustrating, right? Well, welcome to today's Explainer. We're actually rethinking the entire concept of that rigid traditional test. We're going to unpack the modernization of university evaluation. Basically, we're looking at this massive technological leap that swaps out those static, frustrating exams for dynamic, responsive systems that actually measure what you know. Here's how we're going to break this down today. First, the testing evolution. Second, traditional versus adaptive assessment. Third, how AI powers testing. Fourth, the modern assessment experience. Fifth, benefits for higher education. And finally, the Qorrect platform ecosystem. Let's jump right in. All right, Section 1, the testing evolution, moving beyond the status quo. So to really understand this evolution, we need to get our heads around a core definition. Adaptive assessment is basically an approach to evaluating student performance where the difficulty, the type, and the sequence of questions adjust dynamically based on the learner's responses. And the absolute keyword here is dynamically. Think about it. Higher education is finally shifting away from those fixed pieces of paper where question 10 is the exact same for every single student. An adaptive test actually reacts to you. So if you get a question right, boom, the test challenges you with a harder one. If you struggle, it pivots. It finds a different type of question to figure out exactly where your foundational knowledge sits. It's 100% personalized, right in real time. Moving on to Section 2, traditional versus adaptive assessment, a paradigm shift in evaluation. Okay, let's compare the old with the new. With traditional assessment, you're looking at zero personalization. It's just a uniform test for everybody. But with adaptive assessment, you're getting a highly personalized learning path. In traditional exams, the question difficulty is totally fixed, set in stone. In adaptive, it's adjusting automatically based on how you answer. Now, the absolute crucial point here is what this means for accuracy. Traditional exams just give you a less precise measurement because of their rigid structure. I mean, someone might just be a terrible test taker, or hey, maybe they just got lucky guessing. Adaptive testing, on the other hand, delivers a hyper-precise measurement of actual student ability. Plus, we're moving from getting delayed feedback, waiting days for manual grading, to immediate data-driven feedback. We're going from a fixed time block to optimized testing time that completely cuts out redundant questions. It's literally a leap from rigid, standardized structures to highly flexible systems that actually respond to the learner. Section 3, how AI powers testing, the engine under the hood. So, artificial intelligence is really the invisible engine driving all of this. Think of it like having an incredibly attentive, completely invisible professor sitting right next to the student during the exam. This AI is analyzing responses in real time. It enables that real-time difficulty adjustment we were just talking about, but it goes so much deeper than that. It instantly identifies knowledge gaps. Like if a student is constantly missing questions about a specific historical era or a certain math formula, the AI flags that gap right away. And because it relies on pure data rather than a tired human grader, it actually helps strip away human bias. It automates the scoring and the feedback, which is huge because it frees up educators to do what they actually do best: teach and mentor. On top of all that, by crunching all this data, the AI supports predictive analytics. That means it helps institutions forecast learning outcomes way before it's too late to step in and help. All right, Section 4, the modern assessment experience, the student journey step by step. I want you to imagine for a second logging into a modern digital platform to take your midterm. Here is exactly how that journey unfolds, step by step. Step 1, you sit down, you begin the digital assessment. Step 2, you answer the first few questions, and the system instantly analyzes those initial responses just to gauge your baseline knowledge. Step 3, now this is where the magic happens. The difficulty of the question starts to adjust dynamically. You're literally no longer taking the same test as the person sitting right next to you. Step 4, continuous evaluation refines your path. Every single click, every single answer tells the system a little bit more about your capability, letting it hone in on your precise skill level. Step 5, the AI algorithms are just quietly tracking your performance and learning patterns in the background. And finally, Step 6, your final score. It isn't just some generic percentage anymore. It's a true reflection of highly personalized learning outcomes. The test is basically learning your brain power just as fast as you're progressing through the exam. Section 5, benefits for higher education, smarter, future-ready education. Okay, so we've seen how awesome this is for the student, right? But what are the big macro benefits for the institutions themselves? Well, adopting this technology pushes universities miles beyond those simple, outdated grading systems. First and foremost, you get vastly improved accuracy in student evaluation. You're measuring actual competency now, not just rote memorization. And naturally, this leads to a highly personalized learning experience and, as a result, enhanced learning outcomes. But the real game changers for the administrators, efficient evaluation and data-driven decision-making. The reason this is a huge deal for a university is that they can finally move toward truly evidence-based strategies. Administrators can literally look at macro trends across thousands of students in real time, pinpoint institutional weaknesses, and adapt their curriculums instantly. It just completely modernizes the whole academic infrastructure. Section 6, the Qorrect platform ecosystem, enabling adaptive assessment at scale. Now, it's one thing to talk about the theory of adaptive testing, right? But how is it actually deployed across an entire university? Platforms like Qorrect act as the foundational infrastructure to scale this up across massive student populations. They provide secure environments and seamless integration with the systems universities are already using. They deliver the AI algorithms that actually power those real-time adjustments, they serve up detailed performance dashboards and analytics on student progress, and they ensure a completely secure, scalable, and fair online testing environment. They aren't just handing you a test, they're providing a complete ecosystem. An ecosystem that empowers universities to harness the full power of intelligent exam design and automated evaluation. Let's pause and shift gears for a second, because whenever I talk to educators about this stuff, a couple of really critical questions always pop up. The first one is usually this: can adaptive assessment actually enhance student engagement? And hey, it's a completely fair question. Tests are historically pretty boring, right? Well, the answer from the source material is a definitive yes. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. When you face a rigid, fixed set of questions, and those first 10 are just way over your head, you disengage, you just give up. Or on the flip side, if they're too easy, you totally lose focus. But an interactive, personalized evaluation that adjusts in real time, that hits this psychological Goldilocks zone. It's constantly keeping you on your toes, matching your exact capability level. It actively prevents that disengagement that is just so common with static, paper-based formats. It really does keep students highly focused and motivated. Okay, so here is the second question I get all the time. Is adaptive assessment suitable for all academic disciplines? Like, will this work just as well for a history major as it does for a computer science major? And once again, the answer is absolutely yes. It applies across most academic disciplines, though to be totally clear, the exact way it's implemented will definitely vary depending on the subject. But where this technology truly shines, where it is an absolute powerhouse, is in subjects that heavily involve conceptual understanding, problem solving, and structured knowledge evaluation. If a discipline requires a student to really demonstrate how they solve a complex problem step by step, an adaptive AI system is just perfectly suited to evaluate that dynamic thought process. So let's move to our final point. I want to leave you with a pretty provocative question to chew on. Is your university measuring what students actually know or just how well they take a standard test? Because honestly, if we're still relying on a static piece of paper to judge human potential, we're falling behind. Adaptive assessment proves that we now have the tools to see a student's true, unique capabilities right in real time. It's such an inspiring shift, and it's one that is fundamentally rethinking the true measure of academic potential. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking the smart questions, and I'll catch you on the next one.